is moving the metadata out of the government's hands to the phone companies where the government would then have to request access to it. Is that enough of a reform to address the concerns that you and many other privacy advocates have had in the U.S.?
Well, the answer is yes and no. I think moving the data out of the government is an important step. I've been lobbying in the Intelligence Committee for 2 years for just that step. The problem I have is that the bill as currently drafted has no requirement whatsoever that the phone companies hold the data for any particular period of time. Let's back up, though, Jim. I think it's really important for people to understand we are not talking about the content of phone conversations here. 9 out of 10 people I talk to on the street say, I don't want the NSA listening to my phone calls. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the telephone numbers and who those numbers called, not any content. For example, the Sonarieff brothers in Boston, right after the marathon, to be able to check their phone number and see who they had called around the country to determine whether this was a couple of guys in Boston or a national plot. So I think it's important that people understand we're not talking about the content of phone calls. My concern, and I support the concept of moving the data out of the government. I think that's a good idea from a privacy point of view. My concern is that if you move it out of the government, leave it with the phone companies, and the phone companies say, well, we're deciding we're only going to hold that data for a week or a month or 6 months, then the program loses its functionality altogether, and you've, in effect, repealed it without really saying so. And that's been the issue that I've been trying to raise throughout this process, is there should be some reasonable requirement for holding the data if indeed you think the program has some value, and I do.
But I hear you on the point that it's not the content of phone conversations. I'm aware of that. I think many of our viewers are aware of that. But at the end of the day, it's still about who Americans are in touch with, which many would consider private information. Even if you're not listening to calls, it's who those people called. And you mentioned the Tsarnaev brothers, but can't law enforcement, if they have a suspect in mind, then track those phone conversations as opposed to collect everybody's, mine and yours included, just in case they might have to do so? That was the key privacy issue there.
And you're right, and that's exactly why I and Mike Lee and many others have supported getting this data out of the hands of the government. It just, even though there was no evidence of it ever being abused, there were protections built in, I think all of us felt, or many of us felt, that we ought to get it out of the hands of the government. But there is a step here that the government has to go through the court, the FISA court, in order to get what amounts to a warrant to have a reasonable, articulable suspicion of a terrorist connection, and then they can go and search the data. So they can't just go in and check your records to see, who you're calling in California. So there are protections. And what we're doing here, Jim, is trying to balance the fundamental responsibility that the Constitution assigns to us of national security, to provide for the common defense and ensure domestic tranquility. Those are the exact words of the preamble of the Constitution, with the Fourth Amendment and privacy rights. But the Fourth Amendment isn't absolute. It said people shall be free of unreasonable searches and seizures. We're always trying to strike the balance between those two principles in light of risks and in light of technology. And I'm strongly in favor of protecting privacy rights, but we also have to be aware that we're under threat. And it strikes me as an unusual position for Senator Paul, for example, to be talking about essentially unilaterally disarming an important national security tool at a time when I've never seen the threat level higher.
Let me ask you this, because Senator Lee mentioned the possibility that even though he believes and you believe that they have the votes to pass this reform bill, that it might be a 72-hour window before it is passed, might be till Wednesday, which means that those essential powers, the unilateral disarming, as you described it, would disappear for a span of 2-3 days. I know that's not a long period of time, but it doesn't take long to carry out a terror plot. Does that concern you? Would that 72-hour window or longer be a threat to U.S. national security?
It does concern me, and I think, as Senator Lee can confirm, this really is about timing. This will get done if the votes are there, and it now does look like the votes are there. So the only question is when, and I would hope that those who are making a big deal of standing in the way and objecting and blocking realize that all they're really doing is slowing something down for 2 or 3 days, that there is a risk created. How you can argue whether it's large or small, but there is a risk created for those periods. So why not? We could get it over with tonight if people cede back time, if you will, pass the bill, and it could be on the president's desk tomorrow morning with no lapse in the protections for the public. So really, it's a question of whether people are going to make a big production of objecting, and it ends up being passed on Tuesday or Wednesday, and we're in the same place we were, only we've lost 2 or 3 days. And I don't want to exaggerate the risk, but it created a risk that we won't have a tool in our national security toolkit.